I've tanked every dungeon in Dragonflight, and today would like to offer my beginner tanks this quick walkthrough and high-level tanking guide for the Neltharus Dungeon. If you like this content and want more of it, please give me a like and subscribe for more. I release a few videos every week. Neltharus is a rather hard dungeon, maybe the hardest of the 8 new ones we got in Dragonflight. Probably would be an absolute nightmare in Mythic difficulty, but it was quite enjoyable in its own right, with some of the best bosses I have ever seen, and the hardest path for a tank to navigate, so watch this video carefully. I've seen tanks take a couple of different ways about this dungeon, so not claiming mine to be the quickest, but it worked well, so here you go. Also, most importantly, this is the dungeon to watch where you stand and how closely you are hugging the wall, because you can honestly skip a ton of trash that you simply do not need to fight if you do the right thing. Before we keep talking about Neltharus and the path to its first boss, let me very quickly say two things to you. Firstly, please check out our friends Chill and Lo-Fi Beats channel, who produce no copyright royalty-free music for every mood that I'm using in this video, and so could you. Secondly, some of you were complaining to me about the timestamps of the video being apparently incorrect, and I wanted for all of my potential viewers to hear my clarification. They are not wrong. Where it says boss number 1, boss number 2 and so on, this marker starts from where I start describing the path and trash leading up to that particular boss. Clear? Cool. Let's continue. We will enter the dungeon and head towards the first boss, Chargash. If you look at the open map, it is the left part of it, but as you enter the dungeon and pull the first 2 guards, you turn right, obviously. Pull these 2 guards in front of you, and if you skip the intro, let me reiterate here once again. Hug the wall whenever you can, and especially as you turn corners. Tell your group in chat if you have to, as it might save you a ton of time. Trash here consists of fire-infused everything, pretty much giant dudes and phoenixes, all of which are trying to either bash you in the face or burn you to crisps, so you get the picture. If you don't pull too much at once and watch out for patrols, etc., none of this trash is too challenging, in all honesty. Problems will only begin if you do pull too much without yet gauging whether or not your DPS can keep up and whether or not your heals is not stressed. So this is something for you to measure as a tank, yeah? So these are the only things that could cause you trouble if you do not care and if you don't pay attention. There are some named mobs in the dungeon that we can call mini-bosses, I guess, such as Overseer Lahal, who just hits you hard and does an extra fire AoE, lava AoE, so try and avoid it. Anyone with fire breath should be turned towards the wall, so tank with your back towards the wall, away from your group. And again, hug the damn wall, always. Chagrash himself as a boss does a cone smash AoE in front of him that you should obviously avoid, putting AoE on the ground as well that you should not stand in, all the usual stuff, absolutely nothing groundbreaking. Pun is not intended here. If you like fire, you will love this boss and the whole dungeon. Liquid lava also looks quite great, I must add. Now, making your way to the second boss, you exit Chagrash's room and could skip trash standing here by the door if everyone stayed close to the wall, but in my group, it didn't happen. So we wasted a little bit of time there, and you don't need to. You get to the spiral staircase, short spiral staircase, and go to level 2 of the dungeon where the forge is and the forge master Gorek hangs out. Once again, lava and fire everywhere, it's a forge of sorts after all. You will see me dash across these open fire grates, I guess, on the floor, as I choose to take a little bit of burning damage, negligible on normal difficulty, but not pull extra trash group by the other wall. This is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about when I encourage you to watch where you stand and which path you take. Only one patrolling group here actually matters and needs to be called out specifically. It's the Forge Wrought Monstrosity Elemental with a couple of guards next to it. It starts venting flames in all directions at a certain point as you fight them, which was intense even on normal dungeon difficulty. There is no real damage, but it looks intense and it just tells you what to expect in heroic and mythic. Imagine mythic plus 10 plus, like and higher keys. I wish us all best of luck there. I clear only the right side of this forge room, and once that monstrosity pad is down, I engage the boss. You might choose to clear a little bit more because you will see a group standing very close to him on the other side of the forge, but we got away without it. Forge Master makes weapons basically and hits you with them in slightly different ways, I assume, while periodically also venting the forge and doing a ton of fire AoE barrage everywhere. That's basically the crux of the fight. As a tank, I recommend that you focus on interrupting what you can, and pulling the boss very carefully further away from his anvil, as it's very close to that far trash group that is standing against the far wall. So yeah, let's not pull that. He will knock you away also a few times, so just charge back and re-engage. Nothing too complex here. Once Forge Master is down, we will head to Magma Task. There is no exit from the forge other than all the way back to where you came from, except you will not turn towards the spiral staircase that we emerged from, and instead exit this level by going straight to the very top of the map of the level 2, killing 2 guards in your way and jumping down carefully. Once again, if you're careful and you stay close to the left wall, you can skip the group of trash phoenixes on your right. From here you will go all the way around the map, pulling more trash packs that you cannot avoid really, following the map, the whole path to Magma Task on the right hand side of it. Magma Task is an absolutely gorgeous looking boss and probably the best looking dungeon boss in WoW. Tell me if I'm wrong, I know it's a world of tastes, so how can we be wrong, but that's just my opinion. He does a charge that will knock you back and then does some sort of a lava AoE cone that I think is also very easy to avoid. He does some pretty awesome looking fire breath in front of him, and I loved every minute of this fight. Once the poor animal is down, you once again take a straight exit through the wall kind of and jump down, navigating around the map towards the very bottom of it, if you look at the map, where the final boss, Warlord Sarga, is. There will be more fire-stomping giant dudes and firebirds on your way, but you should be used to this treatment now by the locals and get to the boss without too many problems, I guess, unless you are pulling unreasonably, which I, again, can't recommend in this particular dungeon, simply due to just how much of fire AoE, stomping, knocking back, and all this kind of stuff is going around. You might survive it as a tank, but it is not all about you. Let's not forget that as a beginner tank, you may not understand the actual purpose of you. Your purpose is not just to lead people through the dungeon, but it is to make sure that they survive. So let's please not make your healer hate you. The boss is rather easy, but not too boring, because the fight starts as a normal tank and spank, while dodging her cone AoE smash, running away from the ads she summons, who then move slowly towards your squishies. But somewhere around 20-25% I guess of her health, she will cast Magma Shield, and you will need to search piles of gold for magic items that cancel the shield and damage her. I got some sort of seismic boots that stunned and damaged her very heavily, and then we killed her pretty much in a couple of shots after that. I assume that you can find other stuff that does other things potentially there in those piles, but not so sure about that because we didn't run the dungeon many enough times to see that. So the point here is to explain how the fight works in principle so that you feel prepared. All in all, I really liked Neltharus, but I don't look forward to tanking it on difficulties higher than heroic. Everyone is different. I like a bit of challenge, but I don't want to pull my hair out when a DPS pulls another patrol and I need to survive through all of that. So it's a balancing act kind of for me personally as a tank. Overall, I think Blizzard did a tremendous job with this dungeon. I hope you've enjoyed this little guide and it helps you take your beginner tanking to the next level in Dragonflight. Please like the video so that I know that I'm doing something right, and I know that you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more. I will talk to you next time.